My book, Ursula Bandares, was inspired by all the books I read as a child. The first big books I read that weren't picture books. Then subsequently all the books I read to my children when they were growing up. We called them chapter books, and we'd read a chapter every night. Of course, they would always want the next chapter, and depending on how much pressure they put you under, how tired you were, how good the book was, you'd either read the next chapter, or if you were on holiday, sometimes you'd read the chapter after, or you would send them to bed wanting more. We did all the classics: The Magic Faraway Tree, A Series of Unfortunate Events, Alice in Wonderland, Australian classics, Snugglepot and Cuddle Pie, 101 Dalmatians, Swallows and Amazons, Wind in the Willows. I wanted to write something that had a feel of the nostalgia of my reading list from childhood. My favourite books, often set in the English countryside, with large houses, hedgerows and forests, and all the things that seemed so exotic to me growing up in the suburbs of Australia. As far away as you could get from long dresses, misty woods and large stone houses. This book is set in Gloucestershire, a place where the English Civil War can sometimes feel like recent history, where large houses can still be described as parliamentarian or royalist. It's a book about a girl who is clever, resourceful, industrious, yet vulnerable and honest. A wise child whose best friend, confidant and protector is a large hound. This is the story of their journey and survival in a time where it was perilous to be identified as being on either side of the conflict. This inspiration for their relationship also came from living in the Cotswolds, where dynasties of dogs and horses can sometimes feel as valued as their human owners. The story takes place in the latter stages of the English Civil War between the years of 1648 and 1651, when Charles I was executed and his son Charles II was exiled. The English monarchy was replaced with the rule of Parliament under Cromwell. I've always been fascinated by this period of history where, for the first and only time in British history, there was no monarchy ruling for 9 years until it was reinstated by the coronation of Charles II in 1660. Unbound bridged this gap between this manuscript sitting sadly on my desk and a finished book that people could buy and read to their children.